Welcome back to TLT Talks. We have a very exciting show for you today. Erin, there you are. Hi, Erin. Go ahead and make that little button request to jump on the live. It's so funny, we've been doing this podcast for like a while now. And the toughest part, literally the toughest part, there's great prep, great content, and the toughest part is just this getting on the live part. I've been saying it for weeks, like Instagram, get your game up. Just let me invite people. There it is. We've gone live with the one, the only, any minute now. There she is. Hey, Erin.
Hello, how are you?
I am doing wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure, my honor, to introduce Mrs. Erin Krueger. We actually met at a conference retreat forever ago. She's out of Nashville. She is 15 years in the business, originally in advertising and marketing for New York City-based companies. Number one, which is no easy feat. Like myself, she believes there's number one, and then everybody else ties for second. She's number one in Tennessee, number 15 nationwide. I can go on and on and on. She's a badass, superhuman. Erin, welcome. How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. Ready to get back to work. I'm ready. I mean, we've never really stopped, but certainly ready to get back to it. So tell me what's going on in Nashville? What's going on with restaurants, with night? I mean, like what's the landscape like out there?
Yeah, we're opening back up. So our shelter in place ended the first week in May. So, restaurants started opening back up, and you can still do takeout and all of that, of course, but it, had a certain percentage of capacity. We're getting ready to do phase 3 on Monday, which is, allowing kids to go to camp and just like a lot more stuff that we're able to do. But we're definitely getting back to a new normal, if you will. Definitely we're still taking safety precautions, but things are opening up and real estate is selling.
There you go. There you go. So look, I know, I love you. I'd love the viewers to learn a little more about you. Do you want to share a little bit about your background or, anything you like?
Yeah. So I was originally born in New York, raised outside of Philadelphia. So I'm a Northern gal that decided to move to the South.
There you go.
And so I moved here, didn't know anybody, was in advertising marketing, like you said. And then I decided to go into real estate. And I was an independent agent for about 6 years before I started my team. And when I did my team, that's really when things started to kind of go to the next level. And so, I'm very proud to say that I am the team lead of the top selling team here in Nashville. We sold nearly 550 properties last year. And we have a lot of fun doing it. I think that, we're super blessed with the clients that we have and the referrals that we get. And we know our market. And I think that's, with people kind of moving into Nashville every single day, whether it's to live here or to invest here, we want to be valuable to them.
Right. That's awesome. And on this show, we like to have a little bit of fun. Why don't you share a fun fact about yourself?
Well, last week or 2 weeks ago, my husband saw a little puppy dog on the side of the interstate. And so my life has been with a 14-week-old puppy now, which is like having a child, very needy child. But this one is very smart, too smart. In fact, she went to puppy boot camp already, and the trainer said she's way too smart for her own good. So I've got my So on top of real estate and everything else with life, now I've got this rambunctious puppy dog that is bringing us to our knees.
That's awesome. My little dude is 9 years old now. Is this your first dog?
No, my gosh, I am a big dog lover. I still have my 14-and-a-half-year-old golden retriever who I love dearly. But it's been a long time since she was a puppy.
That's
so
right.
I'm do it. She's keeping me on my toes.
That's just better with dogs.
Yeah.
So look, I think we've been blessed to have a couple of the Compass, Mount Rushmore on our TLT Talks. We've chatted with Levy, we've had Leonard on, and I think look, business today. I mean, it's not just national; it's actually global. And so I think Nashville and New York do have ties to each other. Plus, I'm just always curious, what's going on all over the country. So, tell me, what's it been like for the last 60 days, 90 days, whatever it is. What's real estate like? What's the mentality and psychology like? Just give us anything you can on what's going on in Nashville.
Yeah, so Nashville was a little bit different than, say, some other cities around the country when shelter in place went into effect. We were immediately deemed as essential, so we were still working. As a team lead, of course, it's about comfort level. I think across the board, comfort level for your team members, comfort level for your clients. So we had a lot of communication, right? Like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to navigate this? How are we going to make this safe for everybody? But during the first 60 days, we went into shelter in place in March. We still continued to do business. We had about 27 closings, pretty much, monthly. And then we did 10 contracts that closed that were completely done virtually, which was really quite unique for us because last year, like I said, we almost sold 550. We probably did about 5 virtual. So these people never saw the house until they owned the house. So they came down with their moving trucks and saw it for the first time. Talk about a little bit of stress on our end.
Right.
But we did a lot of, new procedures to make sure that they felt comfortable, that they were getting the answers asked that got them with, the best vendors. So they felt that they had other people looking out for them as far as inspectors or whatever that was needed to help navigate them. One thing we saw during shelter in place was a huge uptick on our website of people all over the country wanting to move to Nashville. Wide open spaces, outdoor space, just different things like that were top of mind. They didn't want to be on top of everybody. And so really they were looking at homes in Nashville. So we had people from California, New York, New Jersey, Chicago, that were going to our website and looking for homes. And we, like I said, got 10 homes sold where they never even saw the house until after it was purchased.
Amazing. And honestly, like we've been chatting with the brokers community and also not just brokers about this a lot. I actually think, I think post-COVID, there's going to be a lot that sticks, right? Like in New York City, it takes, maybe it's the same in Nashville, you tell me, but it takes like a dozen people, 2 trees to complete a closing. And now all the closings have pretty much been virtual. And I think that probably sticks, appraisals. It's always been, you got to go to the house, go to the condo, go to the co-op, whatever. Whereas now a lot of appraisals are getting done, by desk appraisal, which means you never physically go to the. So I think some of these processes, there's virtual notary now, a notary. I just think a lot, and this thing of go onto a listing or a website, you have photos, you have floor plans, you got, a 3D tour, which is completely kind of like standard today. And all of a sudden, it's like, as John home buyer, look, maybe I don't make the final decision without seeing the house, but certainly it's not like it was before where I'm going, open house to open house on a Sunday. Now it's like, cool, what, broker, please give me a Zoom virtual tour, while you're at the open house. Let me look at the 3D, whatever. And then maybe I'm ready to make an offer. So now, fine, I'll go see it, or even not, or just virtual.
Right.
I wonder how much of all this like sticks,
I think that we've learned how as agents to navigate this process and to be able to deliver this to somebody who can't physically be here. I think that when people are able to jump on a flight and come to the city and see the place, they're going to do it. I think they were in a mode where they wanted to move, and they wanted to move now. And that was just, I'm sure you sense that with some people leaving the city and going out to the burbs, right? So going to the Hamptons, going upstate, whatever, to get a little bit more space. So I think that is the case with a lot of people. They wanted to move, and they wanted to move now, and they couldn't get on a flight, and they couldn't drive. So they just decided to do it virtually. I think the biggest thing is that as agents, we need to be able to deliver what that looks like. So what I've trained my agents to do is, we are surrounded by interstates here in Nashville. And so we want to be able to do the drive into the community. Literally, they're FaceTiming the drive in. We're recording that so they can see it. We are giving them ways where you can go ahead and tell where the grocery store is, where proximity to shopping districts are downtown, things that are important to them.
Right.
They can look up all of the different apps of all of the different things that we as agents can't really provide them, that they can do their own due diligence. But as far as the house is concerned, the surroundings, videoing, and doing all of that, we want them to know what they're getting. And so they put a lot of trust in us. We took it very serious, but we got the job done. And I will say, we haven't had any complaints. Like they rolled up, and I was like, "Woo!"
Quite probably they were probably like, "Oh my God, Erin or teammates, thank you so much. This would have been impossible without you." You know, like
it was a great thing that we were able to do for them. It also increased like our systems and processes of how we're going to deliver that in the future. And you just never know. Somebody could be overseas and wanting to buy something, and they're going to be back at a certain time period and they just can't be here. Now we have the tools to be able to deliver, an experience to them that maybe they didn't think about before.
Well, when I think about real estate today, right? Like it used to be we were the source for the data. Like you couldn't get into a listing without a broker. It's just today, all the aggregate sites, it's not the case. And today we're truly like trusted advisors through any market. You don't get to push a pause button because COVID or because civil rights or because you don't get to push the pause button. You still got to show up for our clients. And the way they're in business, they say, I have a mentor, Keith Cunningham, who is my business coach, and he's just super brilliant. He has this line that I love. Whenever there's something tough in the marketplace, whatever it may be, it doesn't create problems for a company. It exposes them. So all the companies, the teams and the brokers that couldn't quickly adapt to virtual, it just exposes that, maybe that team doesn't quite have the adaptability muscle all the way built out yet. Whereas for your team, clearly it's very strong. You guys are limber, you're flexible, you understand outcome-based. And there's a phrase from Maya Angelou that I absolutely live by. People will forget what you say, even forget what you do, but they'll never forget the way you made them feel.
That's right.
And like if I'm your buyer, if I'm a client of yours and you gave me this whole experience, man, I'm a client for life, forever.
That's what we strive for. COVID or no COVID, it's all about how you feel because it's a relationship business that we're in. And you want to I always say, I want to create clients that are real estate ninjas. If they hear at the office or they're at the grocery store or wherever and they hear somebody that's looking to, buy a house, I want them be rooting it over to this person saying, you've got to use Erin. She's the best, all of this. Let me call her right now and she'll patch. And this is the kind of, yeah, they're amazing. But it's because you treat them like family.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell them, like, I don't care if you want to look at a house that's 200,000 or a couple million. Right. I want it's a sound business decision, whether you're going to live there or it's an investment. We all want to make a great sound investment. And I really take this serious, for them. It's just not about a sale. It's about the person. It's about what is their plan because we are their advisor.
Right, 100%. Oh man, it's like we're cut. I mean, it's fine. So we're thousands of miles away. We're cut from the same club.
Right.
A little bit. I'm totally going to visit because I've got this really, really ambitious plan to buy 50 units of real estate over the next 10 years. It's going to be my retirement plan. I'll be 55. I'll own 50 units free and clear and so I'm definitely making a pit stop. I know nothing about the market out there.
All right, Eugene, I can help you with that.
If you're there, I know I'll be in good hands. So I know you got to run promptly in about 15 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm on with Erin Krueger out of Nashville. It's not meant to be a lecture. If you have questions, comments, feel free to comment or post in the question box. I will be getting to questions with Erin shortly. So what's really cool is, I really believe in modeling and of looking and studying data sets. And so it seems like out there, you guys are about 30 days ahead of us because we're entering phase 2 on Monday. Hopefully there's supposed to be an announcement today. I actually secretly jumped out of the Compass meeting to do our live together, but you know what? They double booked me. You know what? It's fine. I was talking to Erin. Compass can wait. No. So you're like 30 days ahead of us. And so I'm really curious because there's all the speculation. As soon as it's, things are open and you could do open houses again or whatever, some people believe there'll be a big bounce back. Some people believe we're due, there's all a whole bunch of opinions. You guys have actually done it. You're 30 days ahead of where we are. What have you seen as far as psychology? Has it been sort of slow to come back? Has it been like as if a gun went off and the races start? Like what's been the terrain since it's moved forward in phases?
Yeah, it's been extremely strong. So it basically, we were still working obviously through shelter in place, but then once we were able to open up for open houses and things like that, it was extremely strong. What we noticed though was instead of a feeding frenzy at open houses, just because of just the pure state of the market and comfort level of people, even though we have the precautions, we have the masks, we have the hand sanitizers, we're letting certain amount of people in at a time. What we're seeing is that the numbers at open houses are down,
Right.
but the quality of the people are amazing.
Mm.
So from our point of view, our agents are, having conversations with buyers, whether that house works for them or not, which is great. And they can establish a relationship. But my sellers are seeing really quality people come through that whether this house is for them or not, we can get some really good feedback in comparison to what else they're seeing on the market. So we can kind of make a decision on this particular property. Like, are we priced right? Do we need to do something different? Things like that. So I've seen a quality. I have seen the people that are out there, not as many looky-loos, right? A lot of quality out there, which has been great because those that are willing to kind of, open up their houses, sellers are ready to sell, buyers that are out there, they're looking at a 30 to 60 time, length day time period to purchase. And we're not looking 3-6 months to a year out. These people are ready to go now.
Which is great, right? Because we're only as strong as our data. And when you have 20 people at an open house, first of all, you can't really be one-on-one and like, you just can't give people time. But then also, right, like if there's a lot of people just sort of window shopping and then you go back to the owner and say, hey, we had 20 people at the open house, no one really pulled the trigger. And there's no real feedback other than we just started our search. It kind of leaves you with a blind spot. You don't know what the next step is. And I kind of agree. We're seeing some of the same. We're starting to see requests for in-person showings because for us, we can't show yet, technically. And so we're starting to see in-person requests, and the people that are requesting in person, like for rentals, they've got their paperwork in hand, like they're real, they're ready to go. And for the buyers, the ones that are asking about in person, it's like they're not coming to check it out. They're coming because they've already seen it. They feel like this. They want to be thorough in walking through it, but ultimately, like they're pretty much ready to pull the trigger. They just want to check it out, which I think makes the process better for everyone. I think it makes the process even for the buyers and renters themselves, because it used to be, look, with real estate, I mean with all business, but especially real estate, there's so much psychology that goes into play, so much conditioning and norms. And if we went back, 20 years ago, and you talk to a buyer and you talk to them about buying a property without ever seeing it or without going and having seen 30 houses via open house, you'd be like, no, you're being irresponsible. Whereas today, you have pictures, you have floor plans, everything's available. You can do all your diligence, in your underwear on your couch, and then go see 3 homes and buy one, and not feel like you've missed any part of the process. So I just think, look, as time is like the fairest commodity, but also the most scarce. And I just think people are, elevating their value of their time. And if I can be more efficient, more effective, faster to the outcome, even though maybe I don't realize how to exactly reverse engineer that, I think it's just going to create like a cleaner process overall. Our good friend Jen Smear out in Washington, D.C., we had her on a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, you know what? I love it. I love it. They've done everything virtually because they're shut down there too. Even as far as meeting sellers, the meeting with the sellers on Zoom, they schedule them with a vendor. All of that is happening, like Jen is directing it, but not actually physically leaving the house to see people. Then the open houses are done via Zoom tour, so no one's walking into the property. Then everything's happening, literally soup to nuts virtual, and also like 10 or 12 or something homes sold. And she's like, look, it's a great process. Like, why do we need open houses at all? Schedule an appointment. Like, Jen is like, she's about it. She's about it. But it's just, I think I agree. I think this is kind of where things are going a little bit. Very helpful. Thank you so much. If you had to pull out your crystal ball, the next 3 months, 6 months, year, 5 years, whatever, where do you, of course, no one's going to hold you to it, but like, where do you see things trending? What do you see for the future for somebody that maybe is considering, Nashville or any of these surrounding, I don't know, cities, but whatever the appropriate terminology is. Someone like myself that maybe is an investor, is it a good place to go now? Is there a bunch of upside? What do you sort of, what's your crystal ball tell you?
Yeah, and Nashville itself is very strong. And I've been keeping my pulse with a lot of, economists and things like that, just to kind of see what they say and what the outlook looks like. The bottom line is that the buyers are going to determine, over the next 30 and 60 days of what's going to end up happening, especially in Q4. So I think that we're going to keep a close pulse on that. What we're seeing right now is that it's extremely strong. Our spring season was delayed. It's now in full effect. And we'll see what happens in Q4. What I think that in Nashville, what makes Nashville so unique is that there is an inventory issue here. We have 100 people a day that are moving to Nashville. Remember, Tennessee, there's no state income tax. Our property taxes are relatively low in comparison to other cities in the, around the country. So there are a lot of people that are either considering a second home here, an investment purchase, or just to move here full time, especially with those people that are working remote now, and those companies that are now changing the way that they're doing business and now allowing people to work from home, and they can essentially work anywhere in the country as long as they get their job done. So we're seeing just so many people considering Nashville than ever before. So for me, I think that, what we're seeing out of shelter in place, that kind of pitch upward, we'll kind of see that flatten off just as you would on a normal seasonality. But I do think that Nashville itself will continue to be strong. And it will be interesting to see what we'll see in the spring of 2021. So I'll be, very interested to see what the economists say at the end of Q4 for 2020.
Very cool. I mean, honestly, we're looking, the vaccine potentially is looking to expand to Florida, where so many people, I've talked to, I feel like almost every day that's moving to Florida. So I feel like maybe there's a bunch of upside there. But Florida, no state income tax.
That's right.
No, are we the only suckers that pay state income tax in New York? Are we like the only suckers?
Property in Nashville.
Oh man, guys, I'm gonna leave this chat open for another minute or so. Please feel free to chime in with questions or comments or anything while we have Erin before she goes to her next 17 developer meetings, because she's crazy busy. And I'm really thankful that you took 30 minutes to jump on with us and share some of your wisdom and insights. While people might be thinking of questions, any final thoughts for the brokers out there? Any tips for the buyers or sellers? Any thoughts? Any of your wisdom you'd like to share? Carte blanche, whatever you got. We'll take whatever.
Yeah, it comes back to communication and comfort level, my 2 C's. And I really just think that as agents, we need to over communicate to our sellers and our buyers with processes that keep everybody safe if they want to open up their home to buyers, and what that looks like and what you as the agent are going to do. We leave the lights on. We instruct them not to touch the lights. We have hand sanitizer there by the door. We have masks available if they don't have them. You just need to do what everybody feels comfortable. But you as a professional, you have to do what is comfortable for you and to keep your family safe as well. So you need to have those conversations. If you're on a team, maybe you have a team member who wants to get out there again, and then that will give you some coverage. So I think it's all about having those conversations and making sure that, if you're out there, that you're keeping everybody super safe and healthy.
All right. Yeah. Oh man, that's excellent. We got 2 questions actually. Sarah Katz, my right hand and left hand and foot and says, what's the cost of living like out there for a new professional or for professionals in general? What's the cost of living in Tennessee?
Yeah, so the average sales price in Nashville, Davidson County, is in the upper 3s. So super affordable. However, that's going to take your highs and lows, right? So we're seeing a lot of people coming in. They're looking in between 500 and $1 million in that kind of price range. If you go outside of Davidson County, say in Williamson County, where we've got extremely strong schools, things like that, your average sales price starts around 600,000 and kind of goes up. It just depends what you want. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that quality of life through shelter in place is the biggest question that kind of smacked us in the face, right? It was like, what is most important to us now? And for Nashville, we deliver on that. We've got the greenways, we've got rivers, we've got lakes. So what is very important to you? And so that's what we can deliver here in Nashville.
And Nashville, I'm sorry if this is an ignorant question. It's basically all houses. Are there condos? So 500 to $1 million. Am I looking like a 3 or 4 bedroom house? Am I looking at a 2-bedroom condo? Like what's the?
Yeah, so it's going to differ. Obviously there's different sections of the city, just like in New York, that are way more expensive than other parts. But yes, we have a very strong downtown core. We have more cranes in Nashville than pretty much any other city in the US. So our condo development is creeping up there. So we have a lot to offer when it comes to that. But you can still get a condo, in the 300s. It'll be either a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, something like that. So I'm sure you can't imagine that with New York, but but of course we have some stuff that's being built that's going to have $4 and $5 million, penthouses. So with great, views and things like that. When you get out to the suburbs, you can get a beautiful home, in the 5s and 6 and 700 range. Luxury here in Nashville starts about, $1 million. And kind of goes up from there. I'm getting ready to list a $5 million house, and there's not a ton of $5 million houses out there. There's the 10 million, the 15 out there, but they're not few and far between. We're more affordable here in Nashville. Now, the $5 million house, 12,000 square feet. So, we got the space here, and we got the pool, and we're on 2.5 acres, and, in a coveted part of Nashville. So we can offer more square footage and things like that.
Amazing. Jeffrey Pantone from my team asks, question, he's so stupid. Eugene says that music in New York is better than music in Nashville. What are your thoughts on that? I did not say any such things.
Oh, Jeff, you clearly have not been to Nashville, so I invite you.
There you go. We might have to take a team trip out there. Erin, I want to be respectful of your time. I know you got a 12:30. Thank you so very much. I'm telling you right now that we're going to be chatting offline, because I definitely want to learn more about the market, make that one of my 50, or maybe a couple of my 50. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for joining. Be well, everyone. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Be well. See you guys.
Thank you so much, Eugene. Bye.